So then I guess we'll move on to the penultimate fight of the night, which is our Intercontinental Championship.
This was my favorite match.
Okay.
This was my favorite match. This was my number one match. Sami Zayn versus Gunther.
Yeah, I thought Sami Zayn looked pretty cool. I like his whole bit. You know, he's got
the underdog. He's the Rocky underdog in the story.
Who was the guy in the suit that was like, I'm not going out there with you?
Chad Gable. So, just to let you know, Chad Gable, Sami Zayn, they had a number one contenders match to face Gunther. Chad Gable has kind of had a build towards, hey, I almost beat Gunther. He beat me and made my daughter cry ringside. Like, I cannot forgive this man. This means more to me than anything. And then Sami Zayn, he's this lovable babyface underdog who just can't seem to win the big one.
Yeah.
Like, he just can't win the big one. And this, like, they both have their own like intentions to dethrone Gunther, right?
And yeah, Gunther's definitely the white Dom Mysterio, just a perfect heel. I hated that guy from the second I saw him.
Yeah, I love Gunther. Here's the thing.
Slight Nazi imagery that they give him.
Yeah, and they almost went from what I heard. Vince McMahon wanted to go full on.
I bet.
Wanted to, but like they stopped that, and he's just more of like this, like, hey, I'm just superior to you air of him, and he backs it up in the ring because he has the longest Intercontinental Championship reign of all time, and as far as Chad Gable, what his relation to Sami was, not only were they in-ring competitors, rivals for one night, but Chad Gable was essentially like when Rocky and Apollo Creed in 2, in 3, right? It's in 3 when Apollo essentially is in Rocky's corner. Mm-hmm. That's what that whole thing was. It's like, Chad, like, I'm gonna be I'm gonna help you train for this fight.
Getting together to fight the big evil, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what that was. That's what that interaction was. And then, of course, you probably saw Kevin Owens right before he went through the curtain. That's just his best friend. Okay. It's like, you go get him. You're like, that's just your best friend coming out to give you that.
Got this. You always had this.
Yeah, and that's what he yells, like, go beat it. Like,
and it was really interesting to me when they're showing all like all the lead up. And there's like a scene of them sitting at a table in the ring talking to each other. That was weird. I've never seen that in wrestling. They're having like a meeting. They're having like a meeting in the ring where Gunther's just like, I can see in your eyes, you can't.
Oh, that's a contract signing. Yeah, the contract signing. That's a standard WWE.
I just never seen anything like that before. I was like, what's going on here? They're just like in suits.
Oh yeah, it's a usual thing in WWE to have a contract signing before a big match. What I really liked, and this is part of my production notes, I loved Sami's entrance because you follow him from backstage with his wife. So you have the kid. Kisses kid. He meets Chad Gable one last time, and then you just follow. The camera just follows him in one continuous shot. Meets his best friend Kevin Owens, and then again one continuous shot out through the curtains. The music plays. The crowd is going wild for his song. And I love that entrance. It wasn't like this big spectacle in terms of like pyros and lights, but it felt
that's
really
his character,
cinematic,
right? Like he's a little more down to earth, just almost an shucks. I don't know if that's because he's Canadian or that's just how it happened to play out, but he's
just a man of the people basically, and
dang, he's almost 40. Jesus.
Yeah, and he's been at this for so long, but man, that entrance of his felt real cinematic to me.
I really enjoyed that, especially obviously in contrast to Gunther's. I will say, we can get to the actual fight, but I was heavily impressed with how good his wife was at her role in this too.
I think that was genuine emotion, legit. Because
Sami, even I don't know, like you still have to have some sort of acting ability to play it off right on the camera. Even if you are feeling those emotions, I just think she was a lot more incredible than I would have expected someone's spouse to be doing that kind of thing. Someone who's not in the company doing the wrestling and all that.
Yeah,
like when I saw.
I think the backstage, the backstage part was definitely like, okay, she acted up to the camera, but I think like when he won the match, I think that was genuine emotion.
I'm talking about during the match when she's yelling back at Gunther and all that. Like, she was awesome. That was really great.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, and she's been married to a wrestler for a long time. I'm sure she's had some moments. But yeah. You wanted to go into the match itself? Like, what did you think about this? Like I said, this was my favorite match of the night.
Yeah, so maybe not having the context for the characters might have hurt me in this one because it felt a little more comical, cartoony, campy than some of the other fights with some of the obvious chops and slaps and stuff.
So to kind of give you some context, then, I mean, Gunther's known for his chops. Like, that is a staple of his arsenal. Is that he has some of the loudest and hardest hitting chops in the business. And storyline wise, or like the in-ring psychology of it, is that Sami's trying to prove to Gunther, anything that you can do, I can do just as well. So that's what you saw with that, because he's trying to let Gunther know, like, you're not going to get in my head. Because the whole build-up to this match was Gunther getting in Sami's head, like, you can't beat me, I'm better than you.
And it's that's not a little that I didn't enjoy the fight. It was just that I wouldn't have listed it as one of my top ones, I guess, as far as the actual action going on. I mean, I enjoyed it. Just
so for this one, this match is definitely like not for people who haven't been like more casual fans.
There's a lot of payoff. There's a lot of payoff going off there that I'm not really getting.
Yeah, storyline wise, and also in ring action. These are guys who are really wrestlers. Like, this is technical stuff. A lot of what they're doing is in-ring psychology. So you have to really be paying attention to not just their character work, but like, all right, they're doing these moves. Why are they doing these moves? Right? So it's for like the hardcore wrestling fan is like, this is why they're doing this. And one of the biggest payoffs in this match was the Brain Buster.
So, yeah, which to me, I don't know.
Yeah. So Sami Zayn, prior to being in WWE, he was known as El Generico, the generic one. He was a masked wrestler. He was just a generic masked wrestler. That was his gimmick. But one of his finishing maneuvers was what's known as the top rope brainbuster, which you saw last night. He has not been allowed to do this in WWE ever. So it's been, over a decade since he's probably done this move. So in-ring psychology wise, this is one of those things like, this is my last resort. This is the only thing that I can think of in this moment to chip away at the armor of this unbeatable freak. And so he hits that top rope brainbuster. You hear Pat McAfee and Michael Cole lose their shit on commentary. They know that this is not a move that is typically allowed by WWE.
Is that to because be it's tough to do it safely?
Yes.
Okay.
It's very tough because it can go
it's called a brain buster. Yeah.
It's so wrong because the move itself, like where you take it, can be like the neck shoulder area. But if you miss that turnbuckle, you might accidentally drop your opponent on their head, and that's an accident waiting to happen, right?
Yeah.
So he does that, and then he does his haluva kick 2 times to finally put away this unbeatable monster in Gunther. I loved it from a storytelling perspective and from the in-ring quality.
I feel like if it was an animated fight, I would have liked it a lot. But it's tough sometimes for me when the guy's like doing like the full body shake stuff to get himself amped up. It's tough for me to not see that as a little comical.
That's fair. Again, as you get indoctrinated more into wrestling, you will learn to maybe actually enjoy when they do the little hype up stuff. But this is something that started way back when like Hulk Hogan back in the day.
For sure.
He was called hulking up. He was like, and yeah, it can be a little comical from the outside looking in, but once you're inside, you eat that shit up.
I appreciate the way Roman Reigns does it with his ooh-ah.
That's different.
I feel like that's kind of a similar, like, I'm hyping myself up to do this one thing.
That's more of a battle cry and less of a I'm psyching myself up to overcome all the damage that I just took.
That makes sense.
You know, because when you see a babyface do that, it's them trying to push through the ass kicking that they have been taking for like one last push at trying to win, and either they win or they don't. But that's what that's for. That's what the psychology of that is for.
I will say I wasn't sure who was gonna win this one because obviously you want Zayn to win, like everyone wants Zayn to win. But I was like, sometimes the heel is just gonna win. Like sometimes that dickhead is just gonna be a dickhead. But I think once they kept showing him yelling at the wife, I was like, okay, he's gonna lose this.
And you would think that logic applies to the next match, but it didn't. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Just to finish this one though, this one, I think everybody in that building knew Sami Zayn was going to win, if not for the sole reason is that Gunther has done Abe's not going to do anything with this one. It's just that Gunther has done everything that you can with that title. He's held it for 665, 66 days, whatever it was, almost 2 years of holding that title. He's gone through every possible competitor. He's built that title up. Now it's time for somebody else to take the reins. And now you allow Gunther to chase after a bigger prize.
Okay.
And that's kind of why you're going to take that off. Sami Zayn, here's the thing. It was a great moment. Don't be surprised if his reign is a little short. Simply because this is Wrestling 101, baby. I'm about to school you on this. Here's the thing. Yes, you want your good guy to be a champion, right? But here's the thing. Wrestling, think of it as a story, right? A story that has no end. So in a normal story, your good guy, your sports team, your competitor, they've won the final prize.
Then you roll credits.
You roll credits. The end, right? And then maybe you get a sequel or whatever. But if it's a one-off story, it's done. But wrestling, especially WWE, always continues. So do you want your good guy to have a long reign? No, because then they start to get stale. It's boring. What's not boring? The chase.
Yeah.
The chase for the ultimate prize. And then claiming the ultimate prize.
And to take down the top douche.
Exactly. And then it's the fall from grace and the climb back up. That's what it means to be a babyface that is continuously in a title picture. And that's what Sami Zayn is and is going to be. So don't be surprised if, like, in 2 months, 3 months, he loses the belt. And then he ultimately starts chasing after a bigger prize himself as well. But right now, Gunther, no longer champion, might be thrusted into the WWE or the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, are these guys eligible for the U.S. belt or no? And vice versa.
Yes.
Are the U.S. people eligible for the Intercontinental belt?
Yes,
okay.
Everybody is eligible because they are competing in the U.S. The idea behind like the U.S. belt back in the old days is that this belt can only be defended on U.S. soil, and like an international belt or intercontinental belt,
literally anywhere.
Anywhere, right? But it's not the world title because it's not like because you're not the guy.
Yeah,
you're just like the guy before the guy.
Well, we got Zayn winning.